And now it's time for the Guest Expert Series. Hello and good morning, depending on where you live. Welcome. Come on in and say hello. So excited to be here today. There we go. It says we're live, but I know we were live before. Funny how Facebook does that. Welcome, welcome. Come on in and say hello. We are talking about consistency, an integral part of running your online business successfully. So as you come on in, let me know where you are tuning in from. I'd love to see that in the comments. That's one of my favorite things, is knowing that we are global and we can reach literally anyone all over the world. So I'm really excited to be here today because we are talking about consistency. It is a very huge part of successful businesses online. If you are not successful yet, or you aren't as successful as you want to be, it could be a lot in part to your consistency. I see you guys are popping in now. Great. Hello, hello. Come on in and let me know where you're tuning in from. We're talking about consistency and how important that is in your business. Plus, I'm going to give you some strategies on that in just a bit. So come in and say hello. In case you don't know me, my name is Melissa Jakubovic. I'm an online marketing strategist to coaches and healers, helping you guys scale your business in 90 days or less, adding 10K plus to your monthly revenue, ending that feast and famine cycle once and for all. And we're talking about consistency because it is a huge part of running your online service-based personal branded business successfully. And a lot of times we hear, yeah, you got to be consistent, but what does it really mean? We're going to dive into that today. And also, why is it so important? And sometimes we're busy. So how do we balance that? I got to be online, I got to be consistent, and I also have a life. And so we're going to talk about that a lot today. So the first thing I want you to understand is that consistency means, doing the same thing again and again and again, basically showing up. You've got to show up to be seen, to be visible, and you've got to be visible in order to people know that you exist. A lot of times we know what we have to offer is amazing, but we don't know how to get other people to know that what we offer is amazing. And so consistency is a key component to this. One thing that people don't really know about consistency is that very often it's also important, if not more important, about the frequency. So there's consistency, show up, do it again, show up, do it again. But when we're talking about consistency, we really need to understand frequency. Frequency is how often we are showing up. Because you could be consistent and showing up once a week. So you show up only on Monday, every single Monday, and yes, you're being consistent, but is that enough? Because when you're focusing on the frequency, that's when we could say, how often are we showing up in that consistency window? So when I'm talking about frequency, I'm talking about, are we showing up every single day? Are we showing up every other week? What are we doing there? So I want you to think about frequency and its correlation to consistency. And, a lot of times people struggle with consistency because they don't hold themselves accountable. They make appointments with their clients and they hold those spaces. They show up to their appointments. But when you make appointments with yourself, are you showing up for yourself? That's really important. So I want you to think about holding yourself accountable throughout this whole process of growing and scaling your business, because you could show up for everyone, but if you don't show up for yourself first, you aren't going to grow your business. So what I mean by that is, if you say, all right, I'm going to go live every single Tuesday. I'm showing up for my audience and I'm going to go live every Tuesday. You put it on the calendar, and then your friend says, hey, want to go out to lunch? And then you're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And then you go out to lunch because it just said I'm going live on the calendar, and you were like, oh, there's no clients involved in that. It's not a client call. It's not a coaching call. It's not it's just me. I can move it around. I can change it. Sure, let's go out to lunch. Well, then you're not holding yourself accountable. So what I want you to try to do, if you don't do already, is to schedule things for yourself that are going to make you show up consistently in the frequency that you have agreed to show up in. Put it on the calendar and then hold yourself accountable to actually do it. How many people here are actually doing that? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. And if you guys have ever heard of the compound effect, it's actually a book written by Darren Hardy. And he is amazing. And you could watch a 1 hour, I think it's 1.5 hour maybe, talk that he did on YouTube, which basically sums up his book, where we do small little things every single day that over time compound into massive change. And it is that showing up every day, doing that consistently over time. I've been in this business for 6 years. I've been in this business for 6 years. I have shown up every single day over 6 years. So what you see today, all the programs that I offer, all of the content that I've put out, all of the 260 plus podcasts that I have, that didn't happen because I started my business one day and boom, I have 260 podcasts. It happened because I showed up again and again and again, little by little, consistently, which compounds into massive growth and change over time. So when you're feeling like you're struggling with that consistency piece, go back and remember, this is a compound effect. We're going to do one little thing to move the needle every single day. Over time, it's going to look amazing. Just think about where you are today and think about where you were 1 year ago and realize, maybe sit down and make a list of all the things that have changed and all the growth that you have experienced in your life, in your business, with your relationships, maybe in things that you have learned, things that you do better, things that you do faster, things that you will never do again. And when you realize, wow, look how far I've come in a year. It wasn't from you sitting on the couch doing nothing for a year. It was from you doing lots of things over time consistently. So that's where I'm going with this. All right, so when we're talking about consistency, I want to talk to you about like the who, what, where, when, how. So who is you? You are the one in charge of your consistency. Nobody else can do it for you. It's not one of those things that you can say, show up for me, for my business instead of me. You can't. It's your business. You have to show up. So the who is you. Who, what? What is consistency? Consistency is making a commitment to yourself that your business is worth it enough to you, maybe connecting to your why, to realize I need to do these things to move my business forward so that I can have what it is you're trying to achieve. Who, what, where? Let's talk about where. Where do we show up consistently? This is a good question because it's different for everybody. And for some people, it's in just one place, and in some people, it's in 20 places. So places where you can show up consistently is basically everywhere you are active online. And if you're just starting out in your business, I do not recommend that you are active everywhere online because then you'll have a watered down brand everywhere instead of a solid brand in one place. We want to grow a deep connection to our followers, not a wide connection to our followers. So being consistent and being everywhere is not necessarily the best strategy. However, if you've grown and you have the time to put in, you have a team to help you, you have money that you can outsource things, now you can maybe show up everywhere. So anywhere you are active is where you want to show up consistently. Writing blogs, recording a podcast, maybe showing up in your Facebook group if you have one, showing up in other people's Facebook groups if you don't, or even if you do, LinkedIn, Instagram, maybe Clubhouse, posting content, writing emails to your list. This is where you can show up and do it consistently. So we've got who, what, where, when. When is connected to the frequency. What I want you to do to start out, or even if you're overwhelmed and you're like, just tell me where, what, how does this go? I want you to think about the frequency that is comfortable for you and your lifestyle. So I'm a single mom and I take care of my dad who's ill. So I've got a lot on my plate. So for me, I send an email to my audience twice a week. And I do that consistently because I can fit it into my schedule. Maybe you have even more on your plate, or maybe you're like, I'm not good at writing emails and it freaks me out. And so I spend hours and hours writing them. So maybe the frequency for you is every other week you're writing an email, or once a month I'm writing a blog, or once a week I'm writing a blog. Look at your own personal schedule, because this is your own personal business. It is created with you in mind, around your schedule, your life, your situation. Find what feels good that you are able to really commit to. So think about, what can I commit to on a frequency, and then stick to that and make that your consistency. So instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, I have to post everywhere, I have to do all the things every single day, I want you to scale back and say, let me look back at my schedule, what feels good, what can I keep up with realistically, and go do that. That's your consistency connected to your frequency. So you've got who, what, where, when, and now the how. How do we show up consistently? We schedule it. We plan it. We say to ourselves, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. So look at your calendar. Where in your calendar can you make little pockets of time every single day where you can show up and do these types of business building activities that nobody else can do for you? You can't have someone else go live for you. You have to go live. So because you have to be the one to show up in your business, look at your schedule, maybe sit down Sunday night and look Monday through Friday, where can I fit in a pocket of time, and schedule it out on your calendar, and then show up for yourself. And that's how you're going to start building your consistency. And if you are like me, where you book out your calendar 2 to 3 weeks in advance, maybe you need to sit down at the beginning of the month and book out the whole month. Where can I put 30 minutes of time here, 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 here? And it could be at different times of the day. Maybe on Tuesday you're available at 9 a.m., maybe on Wednesday at 12, maybe on Thursday at 8 a.m., maybe at Friday at 2 p.m., and maybe on Sunday at 6 p.m. So find pockets of time where you can commit to yourself, where you're going to post something, or you're going to go live, or you're going to write an email, or you're going to write a blog, or you're going to show up on some platform or in some group. And that is how you are going to be able to hold yourself accountable, schedule it out, and keep that consistency up. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is that I know, as well as anyone, that life gets in the way sometimes. We have people that pass away. Maybe we're moving. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe your sister needs help with something. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe your kid is sick. Maybe you just got laid off of your full-time job. Maybe whatever. Life is always happening. We can't use it as an excuse, because when we use it as an excuse, we don't make progress in our business. And we're trying to make progress in our business so that we can live the life of freedom and abundance that we desire and deserve. And so I want you to show up even when times get hard. I know that life gets in the way. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed, or I feel drained. I feel like there's just a lack of energy, and I need to step away from my business. And you know what I do? I give myself the permission to do that. And I close my laptop and I say, I am not working today. My business, my rules, I get to decide. And I go watch Netflix, and I sleep because maybe I haven't slept well all week. And maybe I'll go out with a friend, or maybe I'll just cook something and eat a hot soup because it's freezing here right now. And you can decide, you know what? Today I'm shutting it down. And when you shut down, your business is not going to explode. It will still be there waiting for you when you come back. So focus on your mental health, your self-care. All of that is important. Don't put your business before yourself. You are your business. You're building that personal business. So take care of yourself, because you are the driving force of your business. So when life gets in the way, say, okay, I understand. I need to take a day off. Take the day off. Show up the next day. Where we get stuck and where we fall off is when we take the day off and we stay there every single day, and then it's harder to start again. It's like momentum. That momentum's going and going and building and growing, and it's easier to keep that momentum going than to stop and start and stop and start and stop and start again. So yes, life gets in the way. Yes, you can push through sometimes. And yes, you deserve to rest and take a break as well, and not beat yourself up about it, and not have this guilt that's hanging over you. Oh, I suck at business. I should quit. This isn't going to work. Blah, 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 because I took a day off, which turned into a week, which turned into a month. which turned into 6 months. So we want to have that compound effect in a positive trajectory, which means doing things every day that you can instead of the negative trajectory, that's not how you say it, that you stop working and then you stop, and those little things that you're compounding over time is inaction. So we want you to take action. I want you to find a frequency that works for you. And I don't want you to feel bad if you one day screw it up. Get back up and do it again the next day. So I hope this helps. Hey, Claire, nice to see you. Thanks for being on. And I will see you again next week. Have a good one. Bye.